11 o'clock hour. We're getting a little bit of an early start, mostly because I wanted to test out my phone on instead of a vertical view, the horizontal view like we have right now, and make sure that it was good. But my phone closed, and well, I couldn't get back in without starting all over, so I just decided to go for it. So it's just before the 11 o'clock hour, and we're just going to go for it. Today, we actually have something a little bit different that we're going to be doing. We usually go and do our walk and talk. We hit the school up the street. We go and we have our little chat. We walk around. I spend a whole lot of time griping and not much time getting back to you guys when you have questions, comments, and concerns, or ideas even. But we're not going to do that today. No, what we're actually going to be doing today is being in the house. So this is my home. I'll give you guys a little tour here so you know what we're looking at. So this is my vanity and my hutch. This is where my wife and I, we keep some of our collectibles. This is probably one of my favorite collectibles. Let me flip on the light here. So this is the train set. I did a short video on it a few days ago. This is actually a Farmall train set. So kind of how the story goes, as I said in the short, but I'll give you a little bit better version. My wife and I, we have some friends that had moved into a rental. The lady that owned the rental was actually being put into hospice. She had Alzheimer's. Anyways, our friends that had moved into this house, they had permission from the homeowner to go clean out this barn and then use it if they wanted to. And then kind of whatever was there, they could have or toss away. So we went over with them and we were watching what they were doing as they were cleaning everything up. And we were going through the boxes, getting stuff organized, just helping out. And one of my friends actually found this all super dusty inside the box. And as you can see there, it ended up being a 1950s Farmall toy set, little miniature set. So check out that. It's in just pristine condition. And I ended up paying only $20 for it. Nobody really knew what we had at the time. I just thought it was really cool, and I thought it would go great in a YouTube studio if I ever got to the point where I was going to be putting a YouTube studio in my house. And we're actually going to be doing part of that today. This is our living room. As you can see, it's full of arts and crafts and stuff on the table. My stepdaughter was up here from Mississippi a few weeks ago, so the arts and crafts were out. Everything has been under construction for about 7 years, and unfortunately, because of my injury, with the breathing and everything, it's definitely taken a turn and slowed down. I try and do things around here when I can, but most of it is about just catching my breath and staying on top of the swelling of my legs, blood clots, a large heart, and my oxygen tanking and the dizzy spells that happen. And that pretty much takes most of my day, which is why I'm doing YouTube now. Hopefully I can gain some subscribers and some viewers, and they're interested in my life, and maybe actually make some sort of a living to ease some of the stress on my wife. I'm getting a little dizzy spell right now as we're speaking, but that's to be expected. I don't have the oxygen on. I find it harder to talk in the microphone when I have it on. So as you can see here, my oxygen just kind of lays around the house waiting for me to use it when I need it. And yeah. All right, so we're going to go ahead and give you the bathroom tour. So this has actually been under construction for a while as well. Go ahead and flip on the light here. So this is our bathroom. I actually put up or rebuilt this whole bathroom to this point. So as you can see here, I took the vanity. It was all the original 1900s. So this house was built in the 1900s, and nothing had been changed. I mean, it was like the original wallpaper, the original shiplap on the interior and the exterior, post and beam under the house. So went through and gutted this whole bathroom about 7 years ago, and then it's just been a slow remodel process. So you can see I started putting up the wainscoting, some of the sheetrock work, some of the electrical. Um, Shower is a clawfoot shower, which I'm not a huge fan of. I like the look in a really open bathroom, but in this bathroom it doesn't fit so well. So I do see something like this changing in the future. But you can see you got the wainscot up all the way around. And then I did put it back behind the tub as well, but that's something that's probably going to be changing as well. Just because I don't think, especially over the last like year, since that's been up, I just don't see how that's going to be better than tile. So we'll probably be changing out this backsplash here, or the backing for the shower. You can see there's wainscot and then the window there. But yeah, so did all the remodeling in the bathroom up to this point, flooring and such and such. So we need some doors, some finished sheetrock work, just some finished work in here, and it'll be all wrapped up. So not a whole lot. There's new floors in the house. Now my parents actually did the flooring while I was working. So after we got the house in 2017, there was some conflict of interest between my parents and I. Ended up leaving for a few years. They held on to the house and actually put a new floor in for me, hoping that I would come back at some point in time. Catch my breath here. And it turned out that after my injury in 2020, this was the hugest blessing ever, was actually having a house that we picked up at the bottom of the market for almost nothing. I mean, literally a few dozen $1,000s, and that was buying the house. But it's got new siding, a new roof, new floors throughout the house. You can see there's tile flooring in the kitchen, tile hardwood floor in the mudroom back here. Good morning. What's up, buddy? We are live. When are you gonna come and when are you gonna come do a live chat? Do a live stream with me? Huh? That was for Red Mist. I love the name, by the way. He is one of the most dubious villains out there, the Red Mist. So we've got the back mudroom, as you can see here, under construction and actually full of stuff. Like I said, been falling behind on things since my health has been tanking out on me, but we are fighting. And we've been doing, if you see my videos, you know I've been doing sit-ups and showing the big flabby belly I have now. I put one up of what I used to look like, and I used to work out every single day. I was in great shape, had a 4-pack, 220 pounds, rock solid. I think I was at like 12% body fat, so almost nothing. All right, Friday night, sweet, dude. Well, let's do a live stream Saturday. What do you think? See, I didn't get any of your text messages either, bud. But yeah, so been getting in shape, and one of the biggest things I've been working on is my core. So the core, boom, not showing you, my buddy Joe, but as you can see there, I've actually dropped about 4.5 inches in my waist. So my size 44 shorts are now officially starting to fall off me. And that's from actually doing over 100 chair twists. So you get on the chair, you get your arms up and you twist while engaging your core. I'll do 100 of those in the morning. And then chair crunches. So you sit on the chair and you bring your knees up. While being in the plank position, I do 20 of those, and I do those 3 times a day. And then chair sit-ups. So that's with your arms up, and that's where you bring them down, cross your knees, and I'll do 50 of those. So that is the minimum core workout I've been doing every day for the last week, since I got up enough energy to actually do it, and being on oxygen typically when I'm doing it. Just because I don't get enough oxygen when I'm working out. It tanks every single time. So the oxygen evens it out. So I stay at about 92 instead of it dropping into the low 80s or even the upper 70s, which causes dizziness, headaches, nausea sometimes if it's really bad, confusion, and a whole lot of anxiety. So suffocating definitely can bring some anxiety. But like I said, I suffer from that chronic hypoxia, where my oxygen can just tank at any point in time, and they're still trying to figure out the mechanisms that are causing all this. So anyways, and then we've got we've got our kitchen. We've got all of our collectibles in there. Not all of them, but a bunch of them. The living room. That's right. The living room. You see the old 19. That's the original ceiling from this place, not the original light. I installed that. But yeah, put up the sheetrock in the house. Um, as you can see there, did the fireplace. Yep, redid the archway here. All the sheetrock on the archway. And then I'm not going to show you our bedroom because that was just a disaster. Clothes everywhere. That's how it goes sometimes. And this is the girls' room or the guest room. Typically, the girls stay in there. Haven't finished the priming on the lid yet, but all the walls are sheetrocked all the way around. As you can see, the bed. I did leave, and this is one thing that I had. We haven't gotten the new electrical in here yet, so it's all the old tube and knob for the most part. There's one breaker that's ran from the panel that's all 12-2, so newer wiring, but everything else pretty much runs knob and tube and knob, which is old sucky stuff. It's all the big stuff that if you touch it and you shock yourself, probably kill yourself. Anyway, so that's got a lot of house, huge fire hazard. So what I did is when I was putting up the sheetrock throughout the house, I left a minimum of 12 inches all the way around all the walls that have sheetrock, so we can easily just go in and install the new electrical outlets on all the walls. And it's going to have 4 or so per wall. We just haven't gotten to it yet, but that is on the list of things I'd like to be having done at some point in time. You can see it here as well. So if you look at the right down below here, there we go. So you can see down here, it's all got that 24 inches. So we used essentially 2 sheets above and then left 24 inches on the bottom. And that's for all the new electrical. And don't forget, guys, if you're watching this video or you're just watching it afterwards, or you tune in for just a second, don't forget to like and subscribe. It means a lot to me. It keeps me motivated. I love looking up after the videos and seeing that at least a few people were attracted enough to what I have going on in my life and what I'm talking about that they wanted to subscribe. It means a lot to me. So if you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and if you got somebody out there that you think might get something from what I'm talking about or just enjoy it, or maybe not even like it, you want to share it, hey, I am not opposed to the sharing. You know what I mean? Thank you for the like. Appreciate that. All right. So that's essentially the house and what we've got going on. But the big thing is the back room. That's what we're getting into today, as much as we can. So let's go take a look at the back room. Boom. Here we go. I'm going to flip you guys around. There we are. All right. So this is the room. It is a upside down disaster. Yep. So I'd originally started a studio, and my wife and I did a couple of podcasts, and we talked about some stuff, but we never really went that far with it. But this time we're going to be doing it. So you've got my grandma's chair there, and you've got the lively owl. I actually painted that and with spray paint. I thought it turned out pretty cool. Some of my gadgets on the wall. So this is actually something we found in the house. So we bought the house, which, mind you, was originally built just before 1900. It was like 1899. This house was built, or starting to be built. It was finished early 1900. This floppy Turveyland, this was in a box underneath the house. That's right. It was in a box underneath the house. You see some of my other collectibles there. Got my big old belt buckle. That's right. I occasionally wear one of these big old belt buckles. This cup was under the house as well. Those are just a few of the things that we found under the house, but there was a lot of really neat stuff. Don't need to see those. And if you've watched any of my videos, you know I'm a bit of a prepper. That's right. Got to have the prepper stuff just in case stuff hits the fan. So this is actually our go bag for my wife and I. And then we've got our camis in there, spare clothes. We've got our That's our emergency kit there. That's got everything in it, tourniquet, you name it. So it's one you can buy online. It was about $100, and then we added a bunch of stuff to it. And then you got your cooking, your fresh water set up here. Some of the clothes. I was looking for something in it the other day, and then you know, of course, you got your axe over here. That's an axe with a flint and a some poker thing on the end, which is kind of cool. But and then of course, you know, you got the pew pew case and the other pew pews. But yeah, let's get you guys back here again. All right, so this is the bedroom we're gonna be working on today. I'll give you the birdshot view up here. And we're gonna be turning this into the live stream studio at some point. All right, so that's the house tour, right? And well, let's go we'll do a backyard tour so you know what we're working with here. This has been an ongoing project, and the houses and the yard has definitely looked better. It's definitely fallen away over this last year as my health took a huge turn from, I mean, my head was bad at first after the accident, and my lungs were bad. My head started getting better with the PTSD after subjecting myself to everything that triggered me like 24 hours a day after my injuries happened. Pretty much was triggered 24 hours a day. But when I say pretty much, there was usually about an hour where my mind was at least somewhat clear. And I could tell myself that all the crazy crap that was going on wasn't real. It was all just in my head, and I would hold on to that little bit. And after 6 years of building on that little bit, I can make it through most days without the PTSD triggers, the disassociation, the anxiety, and things like that aren't as debilitating as they were before. And it was debilitating. Like I couldn't do anything without shaking or losing track of time from disassociating. It was a nightmare until, oh geez, it was probably, let's say about a year ago is when it really started to let up, and I could kind of put the blocks and pieces back together. But we're on the porch here. It's actually built this porch as well. You can see all the new siding on there. My parents and I put that up. Give you a view of the new roof on the house. So these are things that I've done to this home over the last, I want to say 7.5, 8 years, however long it's been. This is the deck I built. I thought that was pretty cool. We've actually got a YouTube video on there. So if you're looking for ideas on a deck, this is what we call a floating deck. So you can see how it looks like it's floating. So what you do is you take all your underlying lumber, so all your framing lumber, and you paint it all black. And then that gives you this floating look, with nothing more than those two little posts. So as you can see around the side, yep, see? And you do the same thing in between on the joists on the top. You always want to make sure, and this is one of the keys you'll notice in a seasoned carpenter or deck builder, something to always do is black tape the top of the joists that go underneath the decking material. The reason we do that is because nobody wants to see those joists underneath, and it prevents rot from happening. So I can actually show you what I'm talking about here. If you look down in between, you'll see down there that it's all black. So that is all actually black tape. It's like essentially a thick Teflon-y, or maybe more of like a fiberglassy Teflon tape that we put down over the joist to give it that floating look. The deck does need to be cleaned up and restained this year. I did restain it the first year, and I also, you can tell here, this was an old piece of cedar that I got from my stepdad. Happy Father's Day, by the way. I've got a few of them, but he's the one that did the job mostly. So happy Father's Day to him. Thank you for putting up with all the headaches you put up with. I'm sure there were a lot. But yeah, so this is a cedar slab. You can see there that I trimmed, sanded, and built this nice breakfast bar for the outside. Still have to finish the calves. I never really decided on what I was doing at the top of those. So if you guys have any idea on what you think this should be, so it's a stairway down, as you can see here. stairway down, and then these two posts, and these are running about 5'6" each. I thought about doing like an archway here, or something, a cap with some lights, like if you saw the video for my fence, how I used actually garden bed solar lights, the little cheap ones you can buy for like $5, um, and then install them on top of my fence. You can see it back over there. Yeah, you can see them on top of my fence. If you zoom in there or you stop the video and look, you'll see that I drilled a hole into the top of the post. So there's a hole in the middle, and then the round tube that connects the top light to it, you cut that off and then mount it inside the 4x4 post. So the cap literally has the light. I'll actually show you. We'll go take a look at those real quick. So that was something that a little idea I came up with when I was working on the fence. I installed that because we got a dog. When my biological passed away down in New Mexico, he ended up leaving behind an old dog named Toby. And you can see there's the lights right there. So that's just a garden light that's solar paneled. Every night these come on at night, and you don't have to worry about electricity or electricity bills. You just mount those on top, drill a 3/4 inch hole. It's kind of cool. All right, just seeing that out there. Hey everybody, again, Driftwood here, Gray Horn Builds. We are live at 11. We're just going over my house and some of the things I've done to it since we got the home in 2017. So this is Opal right there. Opal. So her name is Opal Honey Star. Yep, that's the pooch. What's up, puppy? What you doing? Want to say hi? Want to say hi to everybody? Want to say hi? Right there. There's Opal girl. Yeah. So, anyways, we got the post caps. We put those on. This year has been rough. If you've seen my videos, you know it's been a rough year in gardening for me. We got the garden going. Everything was looking really good. And then about 3 weeks ago, I gave everything a good shower. So I came in with the hose and the sprayer, sprayed everything down in the morning, gave it all a nice drench. I don't usually do that. I usually water from the base of the plant up. Because I use neem oil to keep the bugs off. Neem oil usually does a really good job of keeping out the pests without using any pesticide to do it. And I'm telling you what, I put that neem oil on there, but I sprayed it off. And unfortunately, when you use neem oil and you water your plants from the top down, you've got to take that neem oil and reapply it afterwards, or it's not going to protect the plants. It's the same with pesticides and stuff like that. They typically will wash away in the rain. And sure enough, I sprayed the plants, and then it rained the next day, washed everything away, and then the pests got to the plants. And within 3 days, had completely decimated the garden, ate the spinach, ate the romaine, went after the broccoli starts, didn't hit the onions, killed the beets, and decimated the radishes. So within 3 days, all of the new stuff had been munched down. They even went after the puff plants, if you know what I mean. I'm not a puffer myself. Not really. I mean, it's one of those very rare occasions. It just doesn't work well with my head trip these days due to my injury. But I do love growing, and that is absolutely the truth. Let's show you a picture of the Godon here. What's left of it, at least. So we've got our potato plants over here. As you can see, they're doing pretty good. I actually checked for potatoes. We've got quite a few actually coming up. Those are doing pretty well. We've got all the tomato plants. Now, all of these tomato plants, these are all natural. So these are left over from last year, started from seed from last year. These are all organic. They're all heirloom tomato plants. So they produce a whole ton of seeds because they're heirloom. And this last year, as per most years, we had a crop and a buffer crop of tomatoes. So we just watered the garden area. When these little girls came up, our tomato plant girls here came up, I just pulled them out, put them in pots, grew them, and then transplanted them into a row. So these are actually all leftover from last year. And then we got, you know, our corn. We got our corn here. Corn's doing good. This is where I was doing the little miniature greenhouse with a 1 quart jar. Yeah, so that's where I was doing the miniature greenhouse. You can see that there's nothing there anymore. I mean, check it out. That's what the bugs did right there. That little plant. You see a little bug on it right there, going to town on it. Yep, a little honeybee. What's up, little honeybee? What you doing? But they absolutely decimated the spinach there and left me with one. I'll tell you what, one beet. That's it. And the other girls. And then, of course, we've got the one McRando, and this one I got from Red Mist himself. That thing's pretty cool. Finally growing. Yeah, so that's kind of what's left of the garden there. And here's the other really bad part. So this used to all be raspberries right here. That's right. This was a massive, flourishing raspberry patch for the last, I want to say 5 years straight. Have a freeze, that's good. The pests don't die off. So if you're wondering why you have an extreme pest problem when spring comes around, take a look at the schedule of what time of year it is. So if you're looking at anywhere from January to February, you shouldn't be seeing too many pests in your garden. Those typically, at least in the area we're in here in Eastern Oregon, those don't come out until probably around March or April. You'll start seeing the bugs coming out and stuff like that. This last season, my entire raspberry patch was decimated by ants. I came out, it must have been January, and right dead smack in the middle of it was a big old sand pile. It was like right there, big old sand pile in the middle, and just thousands of ants. So I stuffed a bunch of ant killer down there, but what the ants did is they actually undermined all the raspberry bushes. So went up underneath and ate the roots out from underneath the raspberry plants. Just totally decimated 5 years of growth in a raspberry patch that put out so many raspberries, we couldn't even keep up with giving them away, having them picked, or canning them. That was just too much, along with all the other garden stuff. So yeah, the raspberry plants will be, we're gonna have to replant those next year. I've kind of thrown it in the towel for this year. I built this, check that out. So there's a little trellis action going on here. You can see a trellis. And I always thought, and maybe you'll agree with me on this, I always thought, wouldn't it be cool to have a hammock underneath a trellis where you could just pick grapes and eat grapes? I love grapes. Well, check it out. Bada boom. What have we got there? We've got a trellis with a hammock, and there's grapes that you can just sit there and eat. And boy, are there grapes everywhere. We got grapes back here. We got grapes here. We got grapes. There's probably about 40 bunches of grapes, and these are green table grapes. They're always really big and sweet. I've spent the last 5 years figuring out how to make them perfect and grow them perfect, and I've got it down to an art form. Maybe we'll give some growing tips, but we're also really lucky in this area. So the Milton Free Water area, which is where I live, it's all on an old riverbed, the old Walla Walla riverbed. So if you dig down about 6-7 feet, you actually hit that level where the river water runs about 2 blocks up the street. And then the river's about a half mile over. But this whole area and this valley is an old riverbed. So as soon as, and this is why it's almost like Napa Valley. Actually, Milton Free Water and Walla Walla are considered like the nation's second Napa Valley now, which is why we've been seeing such explosive growth. I mean, the value of the home is up, I want to say, it's up about 10 times the value of what we paid for it. And on average in town, it's up 400% over the last like 6 years or 7 years. And that's because it's a growing town. Walla Walla onions, you may have heard of them. So it's right up the road. Walla Walla sweet onions. They're amazing onions. So this whole area is on riverbed, which is why, I mean, just think hydroponics, aquaponics, right? You know anything about growing, planting on a riverbed like this, the water's underneath. When those roots hit, helps keep the moisture in there down below, and it just drives those roots down and things just grow. So like this here, big old massive table grape setup I got going here. That thing really just does its own thing, which is pretty awesome. So we got the fence, and then this is actually, if you see right there, that is the old, sort of the old smoker here. So that's from 1900s. There used to be a roof out here, and it was like a shed, and then they would catch their meat and actually go in there and smoke it and save it. So that's what that was. And someday I hope to bring that back. I actually want to make sure that that is one of the things I kept, even though it's totally fallen apart. I mean, it is really, you can see from behind, it's kind of tilted at an angle a little bit. The brick and the mortar is really falling apart. I actually started ripping off the outside. Um, God, it was probably 7 years ago before my injury. Started ripping that off, and have slowly just tried to tackle a little bit. Not a whole lot of energy to do it. Um, Whew, okay, a little dizzy spell there. Well, we're gonna keep on doing this thing. And then we got the boat. Remember the boat? We built that boat. No, we didn't build that boat, but we bought that thing for 150 bucks. It was all ding dented and completely destroyed. It was like this grayish green color, like a almost like a sea foam green, the original color of it. Actually stripped that whole boat down, and then everything you see I've done to it. So built the console, built the interior deck on it. I'll give you a look here. You can kind of see everything on it. You can see the deck on it there, the gas can, the bench, that center console I built, the fish finder, installed the top of the roof, built that front deck, like I said, one more time. And then it's got an outboard and a couple of small trolling motors and outriggers and downriggers and rod holders and things like that that actually go on it. And by the way, I was robbed not that long ago. I had my downrigger on the boat and I had left it out, and somebody decided that I just didn't need it. So they decided they're going to come to my boat and rob me for my downrigger, rob me for the lighting system on the front. And I didn't realize it for, I mean, had to be a couple weeks. So to the person that robbed me, you know what? It's a small town, and what comes around goes around. Just saying. Maybe you don't want to be doing that, just in case they're watching. And we got our fire pit, of course. So I'm a bit of a country bumpkin, you know, and I probably live like that. You're probably thinking to yourself, oh, this isn't a mansion. It is my mansion. So that's where we're at. And I built this shed here. I mean, it's kind of a half shed. You see now, I was actually building a chicken coop when I was putting this together. It was holding, you know, you can see the bolt motors, more projects. Boy, do we have projects around here. But we were going to get chickens, and then we find out that our dog, well, she likes chicken nuggets, if you know what I mean. A whole lot. Yeah, apparently she snuck out of the yard to go get a chicken that snuck out of their yard. And we don't know for sure if she's the one who did it, if they got hit by a car and she just ran after it, or if another dog got this chicken. We don't know for sure what happened, but what we do know that happened is she was caught chomping down on a chicken nugget. Know what I mean? So, yeah, not always great, but so that kind of put off the whole idea of chickens. And we thought we could just pen up the chickens, but the fact is I watched my neighbor's chickens. Her chickens right there. You see the little chicken house right there. And I'll tell you what, those chickens get out quite a bit. I'm finding myself at least once a week tossing them back in the chicken coop. So, yeah, I've gotta believe that if we get chickens, Opal will be eating chicken dinners quite a bit. So we're not gonna do that, huh, Opal? Yeah, she just licked her lips. Look at that. You like chicken nuggets? You like chicken nuggets, Opal? Do you like the chicken nuggets? She's like, I like any kind of food. Just give it to me. All right, so that's a little bit of the tour of the house. Let's go back inside and see if we can come up with an idea for turning the bedroom into the new live stream studio. So we're going to be doing we've got our walk and talk that we do at 11 a.m. And I wanted to actually get either live stream or podcast going. I'm not sure which one during the evening, at least once a week. So this is going to be the room where that happens. You know what I mean? We're going to turn this into that spot. So don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to tune in. This is what we're doing here. I know it's 11 a.m. It's an awkward hour to be watching videos. Most people with a life, most people with a life are working and taking care of their business. And that's what we're trying to do to the best of our ability. All right, I think we're going to call it. It's been about 35 minutes. YouTube likes the 30-minute videos, so that's what we're giving you. I'm Driftwood. This is Great Horn Builds. This is our walk and talk at 11. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.